KLM once used to be our favorite airline, but recent experiences have not been great. We haven't tried their economy product in a while, so we are curious to find out if flying standard economy with them is still worth it, and if they live up to their own slogan, travel well. So let's have a look at our full flight experience, including an emergency landing and one very questionable food item. We're flying to Bangkok and our journey starts at Amsterdam Schiphol Airport. We booked an economy standard ticket and that includes one piece of check-in luggage of maximum 23 kilograms and free seat selection upon check-in. Since we're flying economy, there are no further perks for us, which means we entertained ourselves by walking over this glass floor luggage belt. Last time we flew with KLM, we were in premium economy, which was fine, but not amazing. And especially the breakfast eggs were terrible. So here's hoping we don't have to deal with those again. All right, let's go and experience economy standards. Time for our flight, and here we are boarding the Boeing 777-200, which is set up in a 343 configuration. It's a full flight and we were seated apart, because we wanted to get the full economy standard experience and did not pay for advanced seat selection. Also, because our ticket includes free seat selection during check-in, we figured if we were the first to check in, we could still select 2 seats next to each other. We were wrong. Despite the seat map showing lots of availability mere minutes before check-in, the only option to be seated together the second check-in opened were paid seats. A little strange if you ask us, but okay. A very kind solo passenger offered to switch seats, which was a win-win situation since these seats are a lot less wide than we remember and are definitely not made for people with broad shoulders. Remember this solo passenger for later though. So let's have a look at the seats. When you enter the plane, there's a blanket and basic pillow waiting for you. We have to say the pillow and the blanket feel a bit cheap, and especially the pillow is not very comfortable. As for the legroom, it's pretty standard with 79 centimeters, and when the person in front of you reclines, there's still luckily a bit of space left. The seat also comes with a split fold-out table and there's an adjustable headrest. For charging your device, you can either use the USB-A port integrated in the screen or the power outlet below the seat, but it seems that it doesn't get cleaned that often. Now let's get ready for takeoff and continue our review in the skies. Shortly after takeoff, we received a wet towel and a headset, so up until that point you could not watch anything on your screen if you forgot to bring your own. We suspect it's because boarding started later than planned, but we're not sure. Let us know in the comments if you know if this is always the case with KLM. Speaking of the entertainment system, I have to say we were pretty impressed with it, and dare I say it, it's one of the better ones we've experienced in economy recently. The home screen nicely shows a timeline of what you can expect during the flight. There's also a pretty good selection of entertainment, you can find the in-flight drinks menu, and of course the most important part, a working in-flight map. Yay! To help us celebrate having a good in-flight map, make sure to like this video and subscribe to our channel. Aside from that, there's also free Wi-Fi on board that allows for messaging and emails. If you need more internet capabilities, you do have to pay for it. Before we move on to the food, let's quickly check out the toilets. There's only hand soap available though, and no moisturizers or creams that other airlines sometimes have. Time for our first meal, which was dinner, and we had the option to choose between the classic chicken or pasta. So of course, we chose both. As for the sides, there were some peppers stuffed with cream cheese, a mystery dip that was definitely not mayo, some olives and sun-dried tomatoes, and finally, a bread roll. Taste-wise, I'm not sure what to say, except that we recommend the chicken over the pasta, and yeah, don't come to this flight hungry. Right after the meal service, something unexpected happened. Shortly after we were up in the air, a flight attendant noticed that a passenger was feeling unwell, and then someone yelled if there was a doctor on board. And remember that kind solo traveler offering to switch seats? Turns out, that person is a doctor and rushed to help immediately. After some time, it was decided that we were going to have to make an emergency medical landing, and that's why we were now heading to Istanbul instead of Bangkok. To be able to do so, the plane started dumping fuel to get ready for landing. We never experienced an emergency landing before, and we really hope that the person in question has made a full recovery in the meantime. We have to say, it made for an impressive sight though, and Istanbul by night looks very beautiful from above. Once the plane got a whole lot lighter, we made our descent, and once we made it, we awaited the medical staff to do their thing and take away the sick passenger. After refueling, we quickly left again for Bangkok, and the whole situation only took about 1.5 hours or so, which was very impressive. With the plane safely back in the air and most people trying to sleep, it was time for the dessert portion of the meal and a brownie. The timing was very unfortunate because everyone was trying to sleep and these things have the loudest wrappers imaginable. Then finally, after some sleep and with only 2.5 hours of the flight left, it was time for breakfast. We were lucky to not have the dreaded eggs again, but we're not sure if what we got instead is any better. Dear viewer, behold the KLM breakfast. A cup of sour fruit, strawberry yogurt, and what's that? Oh yes, it's a Dutch pastry snack known as a cheese roll or kaasbroodje. Only eaten for breakfast by those who are either under 21 or hungover or both. With the Dutch travelers, you can count on some nostalgia and our love for greasy, savory pastries, but to serve this for breakfast to an international audience even is definitely a choice, and not a very good one if you ask us. Especially because the cheese roll wasn't executed that well, was just very fatty and greasy and not something you want to start your morning with. So with a disappointing breakfast done and after 12 plus hours of flying, it was finally time to land in Bangkok. With us safely arriving at Savannahboom International Airport, it's time to have a look at what we paid for this eventful flight and if we think KLM is still worth it. For a direct flight from Amsterdam to Bangkok, we paid €950 per person for a return ticket, including one piece of check-in luggage and so-called free seat selection during check-in. Although, I wouldn't attach too much value to that. As for the emergency landing, this was obviously not planned, but was handled very well by the cabin crew, who were attentive overall. The in-flight entertainment system was good too, but the food was honestly very sad, and especially the breakfast is a poor showing. The seats have also become very thin and narrow, and the overall cleanliness is debatable. It seems that KLM is dealing with some sort of identity crisis, where its most recent campaign slogan, "Travel Well," alludes to flying with a good experience, whilst their pricing and ancillary revenue strategy screams low-cost carrier, but without the fares to match it. So while the flight was pretty okay and definitely not the worst we've experienced in economy, it's also not worth it to pay a whole lot extra for, since the experience as a whole is just mediocre at best. Oh well, at least it was a direct flight. Well, sort of. If you want to see what flying premium economy with KLM is like, click here, and otherwise, thank you so much for watching. Bye!